if we're all dreamers here, I can believe that the children being born today will probably have a better future than we all have. But I have to ask myself, how do we fulfill the potential and find what it is? And I'm asking it for me, actually. You can do whatever you want. But how do we do that to change the way that we go out to the workforce? Well, our next speaker has a very good answer, I think, for that. Probably because she witnessed how the old way worked. Nirit Cohen worked at Intel, doing a lot of things. Mainly 25 years, she managed human resources, mergers and acquisitions, HR, information systems, and finance, all of which gave her a pretty good look of what the people inside their organization need and what they want to change, how they need to adapt. All of that took her out to a different road. She's now a blogger and a lecturer that gives us as individuals and also firms and companies a way to change how we think of the potential of humankind. Nirit.
Good morning. So I was sitting there nodding my head, and I want to take us one step further at the why you guys are doing something wonderful, and the opportunity that stems not just from because we have to, but also because there's going to be a huge pull in this space that is still not there yet. So, okay, this will work, right? Okay, so looking into the future is complicated. We kind of think it's a nicer iPhone. So when I started working at Intel 27 years ago, this is what my desk looked like. Everything was connected with cable to the wall. Email was green on black. There was no mouse on the computer. And when you needed to send something, you printed it out. You went to that one building where there was a fax machine, and you had to hand it over and come in the next morning to see if it went out. Today's desk looks like this. And the only difference between the different screen sizes we carry around with us is whether we talk to them, touch them, or key into them. Essentially, communication became air. These things, they communicate between us and the cloud, and they'll probably essentially disappear. And the reason that this is important is because everything together has transitioned work from a place we go to something we do. Now, that transition is just beginning, but it completely changes everything about our career path and what we need to do to have one. And so what I wanted to show you today is what happened to career paths and how it will affect the need for doing something different with regards to education. So here's what they taught us. So my generation, here's what they told us. You go get a good, education, study a good profession. Then you go work at a good place, a good large company, have a good job somewhere in midlife. You can be a manager or an expert, and you will at some point retire. Nothing about that model exists today. You cannot assume that you can have the education you need to complete a good career by the end of your 20s. That will no longer be possible. In a world where jobs change, industries rise and fall, things, everything speeds up. It is not going to be possible to learn everything you need, get a profession. Universities will not be able to package studying for jobs with 3 or 4 year units. That's not going to work. Because by the time you're out of the university, 50% of it's changed, and there's another 50% you need to go learn. And midlife, which is, where I'm at, where just about now I should have been coasting towards my pension, half of what I know is irrelevant, and if I don't keep up, I will quickly become irrelevant. So having a career in today's world means staying relevant, and staying relevant means you need to learn all the time. By the way, you also need to learn to forget. So I might be really good at some stuff nobody cares about. But there's a lot of other stuff that people with no experience are way better than me in my own job. And that never happened before. And so the new model for careers means we have to make sure that we learn and unlearn all the time throughout our lifetime. And that, by the way, so totally agree, governments will not be able to manage that. We don't have systems to do that today. So if I'm, midlife and I want to go learn something, there are no ways to learn today, except, anecdotal courses. And so we're seeing things develop, and they will have to come from the bottom. The ability of the individual to manage our own career so that we could go back and learn what we need to stay current and stay relevant in our jobs. It's also no longer possible to assume you can join the workforce and just coast. We know that there are not as many salaried jobs out there as they used to be. We also know there's a huge double-digit growth annually of what is called businesses of one. So the idea that the way we work changes from looking for a paid job and then coasting with it to being able to bring value. So who you are in the workforce is no longer the job you hold, it's the value you bring. Who needs it? How will they know I exist? That's a completely different level of literacy. So you need to have skills that they didn't teach you before. Because we no longer just have to learn a profession, find a job, and go to work. We have to stay relevant and understand what the value we bring, who our customers are, how will they know we exist, and how do we keep that updated all the time? And oh, by the way, we will not be able to retire. Frankly, most of us also don't want to retire. So we won't be able to retire because we might have some form of pension, but it will not be what we need to live off. And most people at the 60-something years, which keep shifting, will not want to just stop being productive and meaningful, and will look for ways to stay productive and meaningful, and I was going to say employed, but I stopped myself because that's not the right way, in different ways and in different levels of intensity over their lifetime. And so career paths no longer have these pieces of life where you learn, you work, you play. They will now be a continuum where you can choose to do different things, bring different kinds of values in different ways as you learn and unlearn throughout your lifetime. And, oh, by the way, you also need to live in this entire picture, keep pieces of your time there to do other things, whatever they are for you and however that changes throughout your lifetime. So, this is the new career path, and that is a really big pull for EdTech, because there is no way for people today to go do this. There's no solution for us throughout our lifetime to keep ourselves current and to understand what our value is and to move forward on that. Okay, this is how you find me. Have a great day.